He called them to be with him. That's where everything begins. We read in Mark's Gospel, chapter 3, verse 14, Jesus appoints the 12, and it says that so they might be with him and that he might send them out to preach the gospel. Notice the order here. The first thing is to be with him. This, brothers and sisters, is the heartbeat of discipleship. That order is so integral. Before any mission, any action or activity, we are called to be in his presence, to enjoy him, to be close to him, to draw close to his heart. Before doing, we have being. You know, the world that we live in celebrates and exalts productivity and accomplishment. It's often where our worth, our sense of value is attached to, is tied to. But Jesus here, he flips this whole thing on its head. And he calls us to be with him. The first call is to himself, not to a mission or a task. The essence of discipleship is not about achieving something or doing something, but abiding with him. That's the place of transformation, and it's not something that is a demand that's made of us. Rather, it's a gift that we get to receive from the Lord. By being with him and experiencing him, that intimate union to know him, the fruit is to go out. Those who love me will obey my commands, the Lord says. In Acts of the Apostles, we hear the apostles say, we cannot but speak of what we have seen and heard. There is this beholding before the proclamation, before the being sent. But here's the question, brothers and sisters. How often do we do the very opposite? How often do we reverse this thing? And we go ahead of the Lord to do good things, we believe, but without first coming to him, without first being filled, poured into, that we might pour ourselves out as an offering in service of others and in service of the mission. You know, I love Erasmo Leiva-Merikakis. I've been reading a lot of him recently. He writes that the disciple must first discover Jesus himself. He must be willing to come to him and stay with him. Brothers and sisters, this is the core of discipleship. It's not in striving for spiritual accomplishments or checking the box and reaching some new height in service, but it's in staying close to him. It's in abiding in his presence that fruitful ministry will flow. It's out of that intimacy. I love to think about this with the 12 apostles. As we see here in Mark's Gospel, he calls them to himself, and at that point they had no idea what was in store for them, what was ahead of them, the great marvels, signs and wonders and miracles that the Lord had in store, the works he had for them to step into. They had no idea, just the invitation, come to me, come and be with me. And in so doing, in accepting this invitation, they spent the next years walking with the Lord. They slept next to him. They ate with him. They heard every sermon that he preached. They saw every miracle that he performed. They were intrigued and enamored by the way he prayed. They recognized there was something different about the way he prayed, this intimacy he had with the Father. And these intimate moments, this fellowship that they shared with him, no doubt was the foundation for everything that was to come afterwards. After his death and resurrection and ascension into heaven, when they went out to boldly proclaim the gospel, the foundation stone, it was this intimate union that they had experienced and continually experienced with Jesus. St. John would call it the joy of fellowship. And he would explain how calling others into that fellowship would make their joy complete. And the same can happen for us. If we skip this step, the mission becomes a burden. It becomes a heavy weight and something that we have to strive to perform in order to achieve something, in order to be something to God. When first he says, come and be with me, delight in me, and let me delight in you. And in that sense, mission and ministry become a happening rather than a doing. It's the it's the effect, should I say, of having been with him. Here's the truth, brothers and sisters. Jesus doesn't need us. He desires us. I heard one man put it this way: you are not an essential item, you are a luxury item. God doesn't need you to perform his works. He desires to do it with you. And it's in this place of abiding that he gets to send you out, not for what you can do for him, but for who you are in him and who he is in you. Today, brothers and sisters, I implore you, hear this gentle invitation from the Lord. Come to me, be with me. Lay down the rushing around, the striving, the plans of greatness, the great things I will do for the Lord. Lay them down and give him what he desires. It is your affection. He wants your attention. He wants you to be with him because he knows it's the very best thing you could possibly want or desire. It's the thing that you're seeking and craving for. It is his presence. It's an amazing thing to think that the God of the universe is asking after you. His invitation is that you would come and sit at his feet, to linger in his presence, that he would remind you that it is not about what you do, but who you are to him. The ultimate value he places upon you, upon your life, that he would give his very life on the cross, that you might enjoy him, that he might enjoy you. And that out of this love relationship, this experience, it would overflow into every corner of your life, your work, your family, your ministry. It's not about doing for him, it's about being with him. You can ask yourself this question, Lord, who do I need you to be for me right now? I need to know you in a way that I don't know you in my present circumstance and situation. Maybe there's some area of insecurity. Maybe there's some area in your life where you have pulled back from him and he's calling to you saying, be with me, come to me. And in so doing, you'll find that everything that you need will be found in him. Your heart will be satisfied. Your soul will be satisfied. If it is peace that you need, peace is a person. If it is joy, it's him. Beauty, if it's refuge, you will find it in him. It is in being with him. This is the first call of discipleship. Come, stay, and follow.